Aquarius, welcome to your end of January 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. I hope it doesn't look dim. I have no lights on and it's overcast outside. It is in the daytime. I just, don't like to have lights on during the day a lot of times. So probably not a good idea when you're filming, but oh well. So about a week from now, on around the 28th of January, there's going to be a full moon at 9 degrees of Leo. And so this is your opposite sign, Aquarius. But because it's at 9 degrees, this will affect people between 0 and 9 degrees in their 7th house of committed partnership. And that could be something coming to a head with a serious relationship, but it could be in a good way. It doesn't always have to be some kind of dramatic thing. For some people, there may be a tipping point, or things can come to light. You can really have an emotional discussion and reveal your true feelings. And even commit when there's this kind of ambivalence about it, something along those lines. For other people, this is going to be in their 6th house of work. So you might also have things come to light or secrets coming out that have to do with coworkers, or also you could get like some kind of a promotion. Maybe you're ending a job even. So it depends on what your other circumstances are concerning these areas of life, obviously. And the 7th house can be legal affairs that might be over with. The reason I'm saying that, I was looking at that Father of Swords, which is like the King of Swords. And sometimes that can be a judge's decision, somebody who has to make a dispassionate decision about something, and has to be very, unemotional. So the heart of the matter is the Father of Swords. I always say it as it typically is said, like King of Swords. And, you are a sword yourself. So this can go along with your basic nature, Aquarius. I don't know. What came into my mind is being aloof about something. So there may be this need to kind of tone down any emotions, because if you're dealing with a situation where somebody is trying to provoke that within you, or if you have a decision to make and you really feel this sense of like, it's very difficult because you feel sorry for that other person in some way. And yet you know that whatever it is that you have to decide is best for everybody involved. So it's kind of like, it could be like a tough love type of situation. And of course, those can run the gamut. They can even involve your children. But any area that you feel that your heartstrings are being pulled, maybe the other person is manipulating you, or you just feel that on your own. You have love or compassion for another person, and yet you don't feel like you should be participating in a certain situation. In the past position, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and this is in the upright position, so I see it, obviously in a positive sense. The Wheel of Fortune is, I'm looking at this version. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. Some of the cards I can't really figure out, what the symbolism is supposed to mean, but in the Pamela Coleman Smith, I don't have that in front of me, but I use the Morgan Greer deck that tends to be very faithful to the Rider-Waite deck. And they show somebody falling off of the wheel. Somebody's on top of the world, on the top of the wheel. And And part of this too is like this idea of, you never count somebody out. That everybody has cycles in life. Some of them are more where they're just like, they have the Midas touch with everything, and then they have like seasons of life where there may be more struggle or conflict, or they seem like things are not flowing as easily. And the whole point is that um, with the Father of Swords, the King of Swords, it's about learning to detach from the fruits of your actions so that you're not like always on that roller coaster ride. And yes, it's fun when you're, gliding down, when you're at the top, but it isn't always that way, and you have to be able to weather that storm. And a lot of Aquarians have had to deal with this at a very deep level because Pluto has been in their 12th house. They've had a lot of and even Saturn in recently, and also for a few years before that. So this idea of the dark night of the soul, or testing, your metal, what are you made of? What are you able to, and it like a karmic pattern with the 12th house, what are you able to let go of and keep from worrying about? Because you may have had a recent success, and you're tempted to just go off the rails and be like so excited about it, but you know how it is. So in that particular case, if there is like even like with a love relationship, the Wheel of Fortune is connected to Jupiter. So this person may be somebody that is meant for you, forever, but you might be like tempering your enthusiasm because you don't want to become too, caught up in that. And I would just say, especially if your Venus sign, or if you have an inner planet, like, like the moon sign, it would be something like Scorpio, where there's or Cancer, this very strong emotion that makes you just like inexplicably for an Aquarian become attached to somebody right away. And that kind of thing where you realize, okay, this might be the one. I don't want to blow it, or I don't want to, I don't want to get too caught up in it. If you have Venus and Pisces and that kind of thing. Now, the higher message is the Four of Cups. This is one of those cards in that deck that's a little bit creepy, but it's supposed to be kind of creepy emotions sometimes, where it's like realizing when someone is really this a person that you feel a strong affinity for, and realizing when you're just not that into that person, and being able to see the difference. I think sometimes air signs may have a difficulty. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that, where because they have that dispassionate nature in general, they're pretty unbiased, and they're like, hey, yeah, you can hang together. And yet they may be out of touch with their emotions sometimes about what they're really feeling towards that person. It's all in the mind instead of like really, does this person really do it for me? But the Four of Cups actually has a positive connotation that I rarely get into, and what it involves. If number 4 is a grounding number, it's associated with Saturn, so it's about somebody that you can really invest your emotions in, because they're going to be a stabilizing emotional influence on your life. So something like that. And that might be saying that this person, perhaps they're Sagittarius, if it's connected to Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune, is that sort of person for you. What crosses you is the Nine of Wands. And so this can go either way. Either you have your boundaries are too tight, and it's hard for you to let go and to let somebody into your inner sanctum, or you're, especially if you have that Pisces energy, Mars, Venus, and Pisces, Mercury, you don't have boundaries, and you just kind of are open for whatever somebody wants, and you don't honor what your needs are, and it ends up creating that kind of problem. If this is a workplace situation, you may have some kind of a good luck that has come to you in some way, and this has made you realize that maybe you don't need your current job, but it's something that it's very difficult to break away from. We do have these cards like this forward movement, because what's coming in is the Ace of Swords, and that is like having this clarity to be able to move forward. And that's what I'm talking about with these full moons, whether it's in your well, it's not, it's romantic, but it's, a serious relationship of the seventh house, or whether it's in the sixth house of work. The full moon can, bring out these secrets. And then if you have been told lies, if you've been deceived, you find out what's really the truth, and then you're able to move on. Sometimes, because you're getting lied to, it's very difficult to discern the truth from the lack of truth. And in workplace situations, the only thing that you may have to go on is this feeling inside of being like resistant. And I think of the Four of Cups, or being unenthusiastic about what you're doing. But again, because you might already be so detached, you might not be thinking in terms of, oh, I like this or I don't like that. And so that might be the thing that holds you back. So it's really weird. It's like one of those two possibilities that might be at play here. And then we have, as the outcome, the Magician card. And this is a card of self-empowerment and things like that. So it makes me think of someone who may be trying to do something on their own. And even that Wheel of Fortune may have related to that, is that the person is that they're experiencing some luck or success with some other thing that they're doing, maybe besides the work that you're doing for somebody else. And this is honoring your independence. And isn't it interesting that even this card shows a sword? It's like the sword. What does a sword represent? In the Minor Arcana, it's the intellect, and of course the air signs exemplify that, and they're connected to the sword. So I don't know. I'm assuming that, when they say the sword of truth, it's because it cuts through all the BS, in life. But the Magician card, the thing I would say, regardless of what area of life you're talking about, it's the idea of being self-reliant. And maybe this is something that you've had to deal with. Maybe you're kind of on your own because your success has separated you from other people. That was the other thing that I was wondering about, because with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like when people succeed, sometimes they find out who their frenemies are. They're, or they're downright enemies. People may, be friendly with you as long as you're down and out, and then if you have some kind of stroke of luck, or you just work really hard and achieve something, then all of a sudden they're not there for you, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm okay as long as I'm in a negative place in life, but as soon as I start seeing the fruits of my labor pay off for me, these people all of a sudden don't like it. And I would say with the higher message, in that case, with the Four of Cups, it's their dissatisfaction in life. But going back to that Father of Swords, that idea that you have to decide, it's like a real pure discernment. Who is on board with me, who isn't? And with the Nine of Wands, being more discerning about who you allow into your intimate circle or your inner sanctum, because some of these people may not be very, positive as influences on your life. And of course, that's what you're looking for, especially if you've been doing very well and been really, crushing it in terms of your own achievements. So keep up the good work, Aquarius. And I hope that you enjoyed this, resonated with it on some level. It seems a little weird to me, this reading, but I trust that at least some people will be able to appreciate it. If you'd like a private reading, I'm primarily an astrologer, and I say that only because I do so many tarot readings on here. And I want people to know that, because sometimes it's so compartmentalized and people are just looking for one aspect. So if that's something that you're interested in, because how I do these readings, that's how I do astrology. And I find astrology to be more specific. I like to do tarot readings on YouTube because it's popular, so people like it, but it also is very adaptable, to different people's lives. And I like to be relatable. It really isn't about the cards as much about the message behind it. And so the link to my website is below, and I hope you have a great rest of January. Happy birthday, by the way, because let's see, today is the 19th. Yeah, the sun goes into Aquarius today as I record this, so you rock. Take care. Bye.